I'm going to introduce the legend, United States track and field legend coach, the second in U.S. history, Dr. Joe I. Vigil.
I was in Chicago a couple of years ago for the marathon, and I had a young runner by the name of Diego Estrada from Salina, California. And very talented runner, but sometimes not too positive mentally. And I detected this in him. Finally, the last thing I told him before the marathon started, I said, Diego, if you ever drop out of a race, get yourself another coach. And he remembered that. The second refreshment station, he trips over a bottle. And he sprained his ankle. He got up, he started jogging on it. It was painful, but he remembered what I told him. And he continued running and forgot about that sprain the rest of the way. 30 kilometers with a sprained ankle. Well, he really succeeded. He was the highest finishing American and third overall in Chicago. And made more money than he'd ever made in his life. Anyway, by the time I got to him, they had him in a wheelchair, and television was interviewing him. And they said, why didn't you drop out? The ankle was 4 or 5 times its original size. He said, I didn't want to lose my coach. So finally I got there, and he pointed me out and said, oh, you're the mean guy, are you? But anyway, whenever you engage in any plan in life, don't lose sight of that plan. Because everybody has stumbling blocks along the way. You got to overcome them, no matter what the challenge is. And that's what I try to teach my runners.
I would not have been able to have ran it or completed it had not been for Billy. Because Billy, I was racing. I was a racer. I was going to get to a race. He says, this is not a race. This is a competition with your body to make sure you can get through 26 miles. We got to the first aid station where he said, now drink the water. I got the water deal and I stuck it in my eye. He said, you have to stop, stupid, and drink it all. And so I did. So I got through that race, and eventually, you know, it's a 5 mile loops, if I remember right, and then a distance on the end of it that gives it that extra 300 and some odd yards. So with about 3 or 4 laps to go, we kept getting further and further behind. I said, Billy, they're getting ahead. He said, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And with a lap to go, and he did. He had a bad back. He said, my back's killing me, George. He said, I can't finish. I said, what am I going to do? And he said, well, you can go after them now. And so I did, and I ended up winning it. And then I'm thinking, you know what? That's not very smart. They're going to want you to run in the Olympic Games now. And so I told people, they asked me, how many did you run? I said, I ran 2 because I wasn't very smart.
Training the mind. It's unbelievable what belief can do for you. You should concentrate on what you're doing, the pace, how you feel at that pace. Running repeat miles, tempo runs, whatever it is. Know how you feel and know what you're supposed to do. But don't forget about the objective at hand in anything you do. So I try to focus on these things, but more importantly, mental toughness.
So as the race went on, there was an FBI agent, a US FBI agent on the side of the road that told me I was in 12th place. And I thought, oh my God, 12th place, and I see a girl in front of me, so if I catch her, I'm gonna be in 11th. And then there was another girl up the road, and I'm like, I think I can catch her. She's kind of staggering down the road. And so it was just one at a time. And these are the best athletes in the world that are throwing up on the roadside, staggering, mismanaging their paces. And I was catching them like so quickly, just reeling them in. And then I remember being in 4th place, but seeing the lights of the stadium, like, oh no, I think I might be running out of time. But then I saw the silhouette of a runner in front of me, and as I got closer, it was Elfnesh Alemu from Ethiopia, and she looked over her shoulder. Like, racers out there, are you supposed to do that? You never look over your shoulder. It's like blood in the water. And so I, like, with my perfect posture, as perfect as I could make my posture, and holding my breath so it looks like this is just a walk in the park for me, and pumping my arms and just batting my lashes as I went by a little bit, I passed her. But right as I passed her, someone on the sidelines in perfect English yelled, "Good job, girl, you're in 4th place." And I thought, what? My math. Like, did I miscount? Like, I couldn't subtract 1 every time I passed somebody? And so I said, you know what? I'm just gonna keep my mission going, and I'll wait until I come into the stadium to figure out what place I'm in. And so it was this lady's booming voice when I came into the Panathinaikos Stadium, and in Greek, she said my name, but I couldn't understand what came after that. And then she said something in French, and at the moment I thought, I wish I took French in high school instead of Spanish, so I understood what she said. And then finally, Gary Hill, who's the editor of Track and Field News, came over the loudspeaker and said, Dina Castor is going to capture the bronze medal. And I bawled my eyes out around the last lap of that track, and I'm a horribly ugly crier. Ugly crier, but I immediately was able to pinpoint my family in the stadium, and Andrew showed me where Coach was sitting, so I ran up to Coach. So it was so amazing to me, what felt like a very intimate moment with my team, caught on worldwide television. But a truly incredible moment to know that collaboration of all that work that Andrew talked about that went into that summer, that build up, and that we did it.
My best memory of Alamosa is really post-run, sitting in the campus cafe and sharing war stories of the day's workouts with salt-crusted foreheads from sweating through Rock Creek and Forbes Tranchera and along the county roads here to being able to share those stories right after they happen and share the suffering and the good times we had. Getting the best out of ourselves that morning is definitely the most iconic memories I have here.
Well, it was tremendously exciting to be in Alamosa because it was the first Olympic marathon trials. It was the first time we were going to have one race, do or die. We all knew 3 people make the team. The rest of us go limping back with tears wiping out of our eyes. I was not in my best form then. I had won the Boston Marathon, but I had gotten injured. I actually knew I wasn't going to make the team, so it was a difficult time for me. But it was also exciting because Alamosa was the center of the running universe for a month that summer.
It was my first true experience seeing athletes of an international level and watching them and thinking to myself, but they're human. You know, they're just people. And that's very important, I think, for young athletes to have that kind of experience, to realize these are just people, and like you, and it's the training that makes the difference. So in a way, this is the serendipity of where it all started.
I started coaching as a football coach in 1955. And the head football coach was a track coach. And he had his first call for track that spring. And only 3 boys showed up. And he looked around. He was a former football player at Oklahoma. And he said, if this is all we're going to have here for track, we're not having track this year. And I just showed up to see what was going on. And I turned around and I looked at him. The tears were coming down these boys' cheeks. And I'll never forget, I went home sort of hurt. And I said to myself, I'm going to try to do something to help those guys. I didn't have the love of track then that I do now. So I go back to school the next day and I talked to the football coach. I said, would you be offended if I try to help him? He said, no. He was happy to get rid of him. He sent me to the principal. The principal sent me to the superintendent. It took him 2 weeks to say, yes, you can coach him. When I left, he said, but I want you to understand that there's no extra money for you and there's no budget. That wasn't what I was after. I just wanted to help him. I'd throw him in the car every Saturday. We had 14 high schools here in the valley, and we'd find a meet here and there to go to. Well, lo and behold, the 3 boys qualified for the state meet in Boulder. And I went downtown. I didn't have a budget, and I saw a few businesses, and I collected $175 to go to Boulder. We packed some sandwiches for the guys. We all slept in one room. I remember sleeping on the floor. All 3 of them qualified in the state meet to place. But from that very day, when those guys placed in the state meet, I said, this is for me.